not talking about like a simple lease agreement, where it's pretty, detailed, simple outline here. If I have a dog, it's going to cost me $50 a month, or, if I break the window. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the ProfitDig construction show. I'm about to say radio show,
well,
but
we've done that
we kind of, we go back and forth. So anyway, my name's Chris Work. I'm here this evening with Jeff Givens, Jeff Spencer.
What's up?
Part of the ProfitDig crew. Check us out, ProfitDig.com. If you're looking for what I believe to be the world's easiest to use job bidding and costing solution, it's only $99 a month. It can help you grow your business, or help you decide that construction isn't for you, and that's okay too. Once you have the data, it's up to you to make that decision. So tonight's episode is not sponsored by Busch Light. Subscribe to the channel, like the videos, leave some comments, let us know what you want to talk about. And I think we were actually going to talk about some contracts. I've yet to receive my contract from Anheuser-Busch for our sponsorship, so we're going to move on.
Let's talk different kind of contracts.
Well, a contract, yeah, a different type of contract, but a contract's a contract. You can get something very easy to understand. We're not talking about like a simple lease agreement, where it's pretty, detailed, simple outline here. If I have a dog, it's going to cost me $50 a month, or, if I break the window, I might be responsible. But when you get in the world of construction, and we're talking about some serious development here, above ground or underground for that matter, when that contract gets thicker and thicker, it is absolutely crucial that you go over that thing with a fine-tooth comb. Yeah, and I don't know, Jeff, you tell us, might even retain or consult with your legal counsel and have them take a look at this guy if you're not sure.
Yep, especially if it's someone you haven't, you've never dealt with before. You always need to look into their contracts and go through with a fine-tooth comb. Now there's, a lot of people now use their AIA contracts. That's pretty common. Yeah. For even, larger scale construction outfits. And like when you receive one, they're mostly like boilerplate stuff, they're all going to be the same. Now there's the added pages that they put in, as far as pertaining to each particular job.
Okay.
Most time, most of your contracts are going to be like 25 pages, 30 pages or less, somewhere in that neighborhood. So, one thing you want to look at, is special conditions. Always look through your special conditions, see if anything pops up, make sure they have your scope of work listed. Make sure, and I always try to, they don't always do it, but I always try to. And don't be afraid, to mark up a contract. I go through with a highlighter, mark stuff up, send it back and say, I don't like this, change this, or, or we're not going to be able to agree on things.
Yeah.
And before you move on, what's the typical turnaround time for making updates? I would always call them red lines.
Pretty quick, with emails and stuff nowadays. Not like it was, 20 years ago when you had to physically mail it in and get it back.
Yeah.
Carrier pigeon.
Yeah, but you might get it back later on in the afternoon if we do it early enough for the next day one.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's usually a pretty quick turnaround.
Not bad.
But if it's a company you've never dealt with before, and all of a sudden you get a contract in and it's 90 pages, 100 pages, you kind of want to check into that company. And if you don't know anything about them, because a lot of times they're trying to hide some bullshit on you that, could leave you hanging to dry later on in a job. A lot of liability that you don't want. But yeah, it's when you receive a contract from a contractor, you want to have a good enough relationship with them. And that's what I tell my guys. When we sign a contract and we go on site, I said, you work for me, but you also, at this point, we're in the contract. So we're a part of this company.
Yeah.
We are just whatever company name it is, we're gonna say Joe Blow's company. We just signed a contract with Joe Blow's company, so now we are part of Joe Blow's company on this project.
Yeah.
And that's what a lot of people, even on a GC level and a sub level, a lot of times, your project manager stuff, they don't always see that. You have married up on this job to become one. You want to give that GC the best job you can give him at a reasonable amount of time to help him make money. In return, you want him to have your back to make sure that you are going to be protected and not, as long as you do your job, he shouldn't have anything to say against you or any wrongdoing.
Right.
But a lot of times they want to point fingers and say, well, this sub's not doing this sub's not doing that, and that's not the way it should be. They should stand behind you and unless you are doing something wrong.
Right.
Yeah. If you're delivering everything you said you would,
Right.
then I guess that's a pretty good sign of a
I guess it's
contractor
common.
you may not want to work for on the next one.
Well, and contracts, sure, they're there to protect both parties.
Yeah.
The GC has signed a contract with the owner. The subs don't know what that contract looks like or anything else. We talked about in an earlier video, look at your pay schedule. Look at how many days they're going to hold your money before you get paid.
That's a big one.
Yeah, it is. And, if you can't do that, you need to let them know up front, like, hey, I may be low bid on this, but I've got to have my money a little bit sooner. Can you pay me sooner? That's something that you got to kind of negotiate with them. Yeah. A larger GC will go ahead and pay you out of their pocket. If they have worked with you in the past, they can trust you that you're going to finish the job, they'll go ahead and pay you. But those are things you got to kind of work out with them. Just like my bid proposals I send in. When I send in the bid proposal at the very bottom, I've got a place for them to sign and date. And underneath there it says, by signing and dating this proposal, you agree to all terms and scope of work that is listed in this proposal. And I said, at this time, when this proposal has been signed and dated, it becomes a legal binding document. And that is a contract. Just that simple. 2 pages. So, it's a contract doesn't have to be complicated, but through history, there's been ways that people have been sued and everything else, to where they don't forget about it. So they added it in the contract.
Yeah.
Make sure it don't happen again.
Well, when a contract becomes complicated, that's when you should, do your due diligence.
Right. Yeah.
And have you ever had any personal contract horror stories or known anyone to go through?
We've been to court on a few jobs, over the years. But there's been some that's turned out good for us. And another thing too, always make sure your guys in the field are documenting on a daily basis. They need to keep a diary, all your guys. Your foremen need to keep a diary. What goes on every day. They need to, monitor the weather. If it rains that day, how much did it rain? How long did it rain? What time did it start raining? What
Maybe
were
we
the
can-
temperatures outside?
I think we'll make a separate video on that about job condition tracking.
Hold that thought, Jeff Spencer. Because we're gonna take a little break, and I say we come right back, and we're gonna jump into that.
All right.
That's pretty cool. I've not really thought about that.
But yeah, it's we've been in places, in situations before where we've been in court and the case literally was hinging on my guys in the field and what they had documented as far as what had been done.
What have been done? Mm-hmm. I like it. Let's go there.
All right.
Guys, I'm gonna close this up. I'm wrapping it up here. Again, this episode was not brought to you by Bush Light. I'm Chris Work. This is Jeff Spencer. Got Jeff Givens here. We're at ProfitDig.com, the world's easiest to use job bidding and costing solution. Check us out. Subscribe to our channel. Like our videos. Leave us some comments. Let us know what you want to talk about. And we're going to see you soon. Later.